I don't know who it is that needs to hear this, but I have just come back from a real dip, a real down, and I have felt that I had lost all my joie de vivre, all my desire for life. I was at a major trough today, and I had a conversation with the mother of two of my children a couple of weeks ago that just absolutely devastated me, and it's taken a long while to be able to process that emotion, and it finally came out today in a load of tears, and I'm really grateful for it because it's given me a new beginning, fresh perspective to see things with. And I've come to living my life as less than the adventure than it really is, partly through my apparent responsibility to do things that go against my nature. To me, it seems that we've all been born into this cult of normality, this place, this culture where the mystery of life is just peripheral to what's going on in our hearts, in our minds, and at the heart of nature itself. Nature is this ineffable, inexplicable, indescribable thing that the more we look into nature with a scientific lens, the more we realize how little we know. There's just no explaining it. There's just no defining it. There's always something that goes beyond our capacity to explain it, because the map is not the territory. We can map this reality that we're living in, but we can never fully enclose the entirety of the lived experience. There's just something which is beyond all of that. And trying to keep up appearances and maintain the visage of coping in this world is brutal at times. Like I'm someone who likes to think I've thrown off a lot of the shackles of expectations that our society places upon us, and yet still I'm totally embedded in this cult of normality. I wish I could offer a cure for it or an escape route, but I honestly don't know that there is one as life stands at the moment. As long as we're caught up in this debt-based financial system, as long as we don't have access to common land and to be able to feed from this land out of which we grew, I just don't know what sustainable solutions we have. That doesn't mean that we can't absolutely embrace the adventure of what it is to be alive and to start to untangle some of those conditions, that form of conditioning that we have been brought into through our parents, through the education system, through the media, constantly reinforcing these ideas that we have to pay to survive, that we don't have the right to access this beautiful free world in the way that every other animal on the planet does. You may have seen my face before from all the Genius Tree videos that I have been posting, where I'm celebrating a different person every day of the year, or a different thing, a different invention, because, you know, professionally speaking, I'm a celebrant. It's really important to me to celebrate every aspect of life, and yet, you know, I must admit this last week it was difficult to feel that sense of celebration because I was suffering, really suffering with just how incalculable the problems I'm facing are. You know, trying to care for children that I don't even get to live with, whilst trying to pay the rent and build projects that actually mean something to me, that actually give me a sense of purpose and you know, the feeling that this adventure may be worthwhile. Of course it is worthwhile. You know, the sun is pouring through the trees now, and you know, I've got these hands and fingers and this body to be able to experience this unbelievable reality, which on a good day feels so like paradise, and yet on a bad day can feel like we're being ground down by a machine which is just so brutal in its insensitivity to our truly human needs. fundamental human needs that we all know and share. The need for shelter, the need for safety, the need for nourishment, the need for inspiration, the need for being recognized, to be seen, to be understood, to be heard. And we're faced with a system that is increasingly capitalizing us. Our names on our birth certificates and on our bank statements are capitalized because we have been made into a human resource by a system that is trying its best perhaps to create order out of chaos and to create the resources that we need. And perhaps we are closer than we've ever been to a time of immense liberty for all, and yet I have doubts that that is the ultimate intention. In fact, it seems to me that we may well be in a time of the great cull. The Georgia Guidestones that were destroyed just recently blatantly said that human population should be kept below 500 million. And it seems to me the level of poisoning, the level of through the medical system, through the nutrition system, in the skies, in the soils, the perpetual use of glyphosate, and all of these outrageous forms of poisoning that is going on to this planet. I mean, it's funny because people are so concerned about climate change and carbon dioxide, which is the very thing that plants feed upon, and it has been, basically the climate change thing is not what we think, but that's the thing that occupies people's attention when we talk about the environment, and the poisoning of the rivers and the poisoning of the food supply seems to go by the wayside. Now, you must be able to see that in me there is some relentless capacity to see the good in things. I was, perhaps by a gift of birth or nature or astrology or my parents, who knows, I have some incredible wellspring of optimism in me. And I've just been through 7 or so really dark days, and it's funny, someone close to me was recently diagnosed with bipolar, and it really made me think about, is that what I'm suffering from? I have these real highs and real where I have a sense that everything is possible, and that is contrasted at times by feeling incredibly down and really feeling the pain of this world. But for me, I really don't think that a diagnosis is enough to explain that process. I mean, surely it's part of being alive and being sensitive to the world that would make us feel the anguish and the anxiety and the pain at seeing such suffering, and feeling the weight of the forces, the machine that seems to be relentlessly moving in a dark direction. And yet life is replete with these incredible moments of beauty if we seek them out, and if we actually, I just spent a few days where I let so many of my practices go. I have been fasting, but I hadn't been looking after myself and my home in the way that I would normally do. And it was interesting, I saw a video as I'd been doing too much scrolling, and I noticed that there was a thing where someone was like, have you been outside today? I was like, no. Have you done any exercise today? No. Have you been scrolling too much? Yes. Have you been? And she went through this list of things, and I ticked every box. No wonder I wasn't feeling well, because I wasn't doing things to help me feel well. So today I'm reconnecting with that sense of wow, of being back in my body, back in myself, feeling an appreciation for being alive. And it's so interesting that came as a result of sobbing my heart out, like the tears cleansing the vision and giving another opportunity to start again, another opportunity to embrace life for the adventure that it is so worth living. I don't know what the point of this video is, apart from to share what's going on for me with anyone who may need to hear it, because know that you're not alone if you're suffering. Know that you're not alone if you think that there might be reason for optimism, because in the face of our tragedies and our disasters, both individually and collectively, there's always the opportunity for rebirth. There's always the opportunity for a new beginning, and that fountain of life just keeps on flowing. I'm actually going to go and fill up some water from a spring right now, because I've come to live from the living waters. I can't drink out of the tap anymore. There's all sorts of things that I'm doing that yeah, maybe that's for another video. So I wish you well.